Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today, we're doing a comparison between the TC Electronic Plethora X1, the Line 6 HX1, and the Zoom MS-70 CDR Plus. Now, all these, let's just start here. All these pedals are worth getting. You know, to be honest with you, they all sound good. All three of them sound good. And when you add them together, it just makes for a ridiculous ambient effects, you know what I'm saying, module pretty much, because that gives you it gives you eight effects at a time when you combine them all together. So with that, you have the MS-70 CDR Plus. That's going to give you 6 effects at a time, you know. The HX1 and the Plethora X1 only one at a time, but they all give you a huge variety of effects. You get all the TC Electronic pedals in this one, and you get all of the Helix effects in the HX1, and with the MS-70 CDR Plus, you get all the modulations, delays, and other things that are available to you on that. So this just makes for a nice rig. So what you kind of was hearing there was a comparison between the hall reverbs that are available on these two units. So just for anybody joining us, let's just do it again real quick. Uh-oh, watch out there now. We got a super chat just came in from Simon. I definitely appreciate it. You know, like I said, I do these unbiased comparison for you guys because I buy all this stuff myself. So Line 6, Zoom, or TC Electronic don't have any bearing on what I'm saying. And to be honest, I would rather keep this channel where I can have you all, you know, give you all honest feedback. And I'd rather just, you know, make my money from you guys versus them. And that's so I can give you guys actually what you would need and want from a product review, not bought by companies to have a product review that's just a commercial. So let's continue on, you know, and just let's go over price real quick. So pricing, let me do this one real quick. So I'm gonna do these back to back. I'm sorry about that, I got a little distracted there. And just listening to these, this is one of the reasons why I always say sometimes comparing things can keep you from being understanding or seeing the creativity in each individual effect. So all of these are running hall reverbs, but they all sound completely different. And that's a good thing. Like neither one of these sound better than the other to me. They all will have some purpose somewhere in there. You know, I've seen a few people going back and forth on some of my videos about what's better, the Helix effects or the TC Electronics. That is so irrelevant, and that is a waste of time and energy. What I would say is look for each what you can find in each individual pedal that will help you achieve the sounds that you want to achieve. Now, if that happens to be the Helix stuff, then of course get it. If it happens to be the Zoom MS70 CDR Plus, get it. You know, if it happens to be all of these pedals together, like I have, because for me, I want all of these effects. I want access to all of them. So, all right, that's good for the hall. Now, let's see what else we got here we can compare. Let's compare a modulation. So, since we have a TC Electronic Plethora here, let's go and do the tri-chorus. You know, so on both of these pedals, the HX1 and the MS70 CDR Plus, both of them have a tri-chorus emulation, which is TC Electronic, like from their actual pedals. So this is like getting a bunch of their pedals in one, you know, one package. That's 100. I got this for $129 on sale. So you get this, and you get all these. I think it's 14 different effects all together. And what they don't tell you, just a quick tip, each one of these slots has an A and B, but each one of those A and B also has 5 different tone prints that you can have in each of those slots, effectively giving you, I believe it was 70 when I did the math or something like that. Let's see, it gives you about 10. Yeah, it gives you 10 per slot. So so if you have a reverb in A, it'll give you 5 of those tone prints. And if you have like a chorus in B per se, it'll give you 5 in that. And then together, now if you want to, like I have this one in AB mode. So when I hold this foot switch down, it switches between the two. And then I can just toggle here and go up or down and switch between the tone prints there. So, and then it also auto saves. So as you go through those tone prints and you have each of these 3 knobs set up to 3 different parameters, up to 3 different parameters each, as well as the mash button here, you know, you can have a ton of different fun with this. And this is an extremely flexible unit, especially for $129. Give it up for TC Electronic for actually coming back through. You know, I know they've been on them, you know, on the whatever lately, you know, being bought out by Behringer, but trust me, this is what it's claiming to be. Look how wide that chorus is. What else I got? Oh. And I did use the MXR layers with those dynamic hall effects there. But let's go on to this tri-chorus. So that's the actual tri-chorus on here. And mind you, they're still working on getting this X1 to connect to the app. So I haven't even been able to connect this pedal to the app, and I still think it's worth buying. Even if I never have access to the app, I still love this TC Electronic pedal. And it's enough flexibility in there where I got a ton of different sounds. But I wanted the use of the app so I can get to all my parameters like I was promised. So Let's go over to the HX1, the modulation section. Oh, definitely not the modulation section. There. And let's go over to the Trinity chorus. Yes, the Zoom, someone just asked, is the Zoom pedal better in sound quality and sound processing than the previous version? And that is correct. This thing sounds much better. The When you have it bypass, no coloring, none of that, and it sounds really good. Like that's why I'm going through. I'm gonna go through them back to back. You're gonna get to hear it in comparison to the other two, even though this one still has 5 other slots for effects. It still keeps up effect for effect, which is kind of crazy because we know this is only running 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. The B6 does run at 88.2 kilohertz, so twice the sample rate. But to be honest, like most people keep thinking you need a higher sample rate. That's not really how things work. They just see a higher sample rate and automatically assume it's better. That's not always true. And let's not forget, CD quality is still amazing. 24-bit, you know what I'm saying, 44.1 kilohertz is CD quality. And CD quality is still better than anything streaming. And don't forget, after you do all this, getting the higher sample rate stuff, you record this stuff and put it out, it's going to be stepped on by the streaming services. So let's not act like it's the end-all be-all of everything. So, all right, here we go. Trinity chorus on the HX1. And I do love this HX1's effects now. I think they could have gave me a better price point. The Zoom also has USB MIDI. So, yep. Boom. That's the Trinity chorus in the HX1. And let's hop over here to the MS-70 CDR Plus. Wish I had my tablet right now, or, but we'll do it from the pedal. Yep, so now I'm going to do them all back to back. Well, first off, mind you, this is just what pulls up when you pull up the tri-choruses, pretty much. And like I said, these two are just emulations of this, which makes this that much more worth it, that you're going to get the authentic TC Electronic effects compared to these two, where you're getting a lot of emulations. Pretty much a lot of these, almost everything in these are emulations of other effects. So compared to this, these are the actual effects. Just like when you buy the pedals, you could beam in effects. You can program in effects with your phone as well. So, but let's hear them all back to back in the TC Electronic tri-chorus. Tell me that's not spot on now. Come on, they playing with you. They playing with you. This is what I'm saying. Like it's spot on. That's people sleep on the Zoom stuff. They still sleeping on it, trying to make it seem like it's garbage, and it's definitely not. It's definitely not. And compared to the HX1 and the Plethora, it definitely holds up for sure. Especially because it includes bass specific stuff, which also the HX1 does, but a lot of this stuff isn't bass friendly. Like it's guitar stuff. And if, you know, this stuff, they actually included the guitar and the bass versions in the MS-70 CDR Plus, which is amazing, especially for like the modulations and stuff like this. So again, the original tricores. MS-70 CDR Plus. And the HX1. So you can make your own judgment from there, but for my money, you know, of course the original sounds like the original sounds the best, but this emulation here is on this MS-70 CDR Plus is just spot on. From the time I just click this on and I just click this on, it's pretty much the same. You know, one of the biggest things about the original MS-70 CDR Plus was that the stereo imaging, you know, it was good, but it wasn't always wide enough. But this is super. And just a quick tip, because we already moved past, we going back to the reverbs, but one thing I like to do with the MS-70 CDR Plus, when it comes to the reverbs, if you want them to be sound really open, like I like how the HX1's delays and reverbs, well, especially the reverbs sound really open and big. The way you get that with the MS-70 CDR Plus, which most people don't know because they don't, you know, experiment enough a lot of times, is you simply add the air reverb at the end of your chain. So, you know, you would do the reverb and then the air right after, air reverb right after it. And that air adds all the extra space and actually adds more flexibility to each reverb when you add that extra effect there. And that's one of the benefits of having up to 6 effects at a time compared to these. However these effects are, whatever parameters they got, is what you pretty much rolling with from these units. This, even if something needs a little bit of tailoring, a little EQ, a little filtering, a little whatever, you got access to that stuff within here. Even things like a bit crusher and a ring. You know, I'm here. I'm in the process of making my pack for the MS-70 CDR Plus. I'm making packs for all of these. You know, you'll be able to get my exact settings and effects for the HX1 and the Plethora X1. But, you know, see, for instance, it's able to create some nice synth-based stuff in here. Just ridiculous. So that's just a few patches that's going to be available to you guys on my Patreon. You know, I already got packs on there for the MS-70, MS-60B Plus and the Zoom B6, and got ToneX 1, all 11 different preamp packs for the ToneX 1 pedals and software, all that stuff, as well as 47 different bass synths for the C4 synth. But now we're going to have, in this pack, I got 21 presets in this pack so far for the MS-70 CDR Plus. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to show you guys real quick. But that just kind of, those patches kind of really demonstrate the power of this unit compared to, sometimes I think people are trying to really, I'm not sure what they're, you know, I guess they want the effect for effect type thing. But this is so much more than just one effect at a time. It really doesn't matter if, for instance, so let's go get out of my presets before I mess them up. Let's go here, and let's do some shimmer reverbs, right? So you go to these, got the different shimmer reverbs. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe so y'all know when I'm going live and different stuff like that. You know, you can hit that super chat, super thanks, or that cash app as well. But I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me for sure over on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to do that and hit that like button. So So all of them literally sound sound great, you know. So for me, all those sound different. I'm not actually trying to see which one sounds better per se. What I'm listening for a lot of times when I'm trying out different effects is is this actually usable? Is it um a sound that I can see myself using in some patch or something somewhere? Like this, the MS-70 CDR Plus one is more like Shimmer Plus. This is the Shimmer Reverb Plus. It's more like the Rainbow Machine. It sounds like that to me more so than this one. Has I like this one in the HX1 because it has like that harmony aspect to it. Sounds great. And on the MS-70 CDR Plus, again, if you keeping up with the tips, so whenever you're using a reverb, if you want it to sound really big in the MS-70 CDR Plus, you put the reverb and then run a air reverb afterwards. One of the other beautiful things is you can add on this line selector. I use this frequently in my patches as a starting point. One, because I can turn the entire patch on and off at once, and it doesn't take up any real processing power to use it. So now I got it. Compared to without it. Look how much bigger that sounds now. Like, and also I love all of these Shimmer reverbs, by the way. They all sound, like I said, they sound great for something. But this TC Electronic one, it's like super ambient, even by itself. It just, but it's like it resonates, like, you know, certain little areas. I would also say while these two encourage you to do more pad-like stuff with the Shimmer reverbs, this one actually like works well even when you are playing passages. And it's just like, it just works for some reason. So, I mean, I don't have a, that's the thing I'm trying to tell you guys. Some people are looking at this like Line 6 versus Zoom versus TC Electronic, when in reality, none of us own none of these companies and none of us are making no money by choosing one over the other. Only real dog in the fight we have is which one suits our playing and our needs more. And for me, all three of them. I mean, if you got the money, just get all three of them. If you, instead of buying like, if you're into more boutique pedals, you could get a Strymon or something like that, and that's gonna cost you pretty much with all of these, with three of these, will cost you $250. These are on sale for $109. The Zoom is on sale for $109 right now. That's insane for the value in this pedal. Mind you, this joint got the filters is crazy in here too. Don't like the filters in here. Just disclaimer. But this is on sale for $129. This on sale for $250. These are normally $3. These are normally $129, and these are normally $179. So, price considered, it's a great time to just go ahead and grab all three if you got the bread, and you'll save some money in the long run if you're going to end up getting all three anyway. So let's move on. All right, so let's see what else we got in here. What's on this B side? The doubler. So in this TC Electronic pedal, it has a doubler, which is pretty much your pitch, whatever you're playing, double. It creates this nice wide sound like you're hearing now. Right? So we got to pull up one on the HX1. Mind you, these have a lot of the same modulations, a lot of the same delays and reverbs. I mean, like almost pretty much the same thing. Now, I like how they've stretched some extra things like extra decay in there and things like that. This has a nice flux function as well. This has the same thing as the flux, it's just mash. This doesn't have that feature. So, but this, like I said, if you're looking for just a feature set comparison real quick, even as I'm looking into these, this has regular MIDI ports on the side. This has USB MIDI, so you can control this through MIDI as well. This does not. Let's see if we can find a doubler on here. Double take, I guess. Let's try that. Matter of fact, let me pull up the effects list here for that HX1 while we're here. And I will pull up a doubler on here. It's just cool to have options for the same effects. That's why I really love all three of these units, because they give me so many options together. I get all my favorite TC Electronic effects, and I love things like the Hall of Fame, the flashback delay. The shaker tremolo is one of my favorite tremolos ever. I also love their phaser on there as well. But let's see, HX1. It's the Zoom pedal, MS70 CDR Plus. This is the Gemino's doubler. I guess that's a play on the Gemini, I guess. I'm not even holding you guys. The Zoom did a great job modeling this stuff. Let me see what that's actually supposed to be. That's crazy. That is so close. I think that's supposed to be that. Yeah. Well, it's just double tracking. Zoom on them. I ain't gonna lie. Zoom rewrite up there on them. I do love, like I said, the best part for me is just being able to try all these different effects and just see what each one of them is useful for. Out of those three, I probably would use the Zoom doubler and more than the other two, just to be honest. Because even if I went to play bass line or synth bass or something with it, it would still sound good. Let's hear what a little synth bass. See what these sound like. So like I said, even though on my dry bass, I prefer the Zoom one. on this synth bass one, I kind of prefer. I could even take either the Zoom one or the Line 6 one. Both of those, I like the way that Line 6 one is. It's more. It's more like a getting towards the traditional, not traditional, but more towards the chorus area. While these two like literally sound like doublers, like things that are on each ear is a separate thing. So. But there, that just kind of like adds some chorus. It's a sound by itself. So any of those are acceptable, in my eyes. That's why I said, you don't want to get into the battle of the brands or which company. They're there to sell things. They appreciate your brand loyalty, but guess what? If you stop using Line 6 or stop using Zoom or stop using TC Electronic, they ain't dependent on your individual money like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you have nothing but to gain things by trying them all, by giving them all a chance, equal chance, not a biased chance like, oh, I'm a Zoom fan, so all Line 6 stuff sucks. Or I'm a TC Electronic fan and the other two suck. You don't need to do that. Find what works for you, try them all out, and either use them or don't. But I think some people just get into they think Helix is the highest quality or whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody, especially the people that's listening. What they want to hear is great music, and you can make great music with any of these pedals. So just because this is twice the price, well, almost 2.5 times the price now that this is on sale for $109, this is on sale for $250, that's a huge price discrepancy. I'm not hearing twice the quality for the amount of money, and that's each effect. I still got 5 other effects I could throw on this Zoom one. So, don't get so stuck on one thing. Try to give everything like somewhat of an equal chance. All right, let's hop over to some delay real quick, and we'll do a analog delay real quick on each of these. Like I said, I love certain effects on here, more than I might like them on here for certain things. But that is not, it's not enough for me to just completely be like, this is better than this or either way, I don't use the distortions because I'm a bassist, right? My main beef with Line 6 is that they don't do enough for basses. They do most of this stuff is guitar-based stuff, effects for bass per se. Like they'll take their guitar algorithm, rework it with certain frequency boost and mix knob, things like that, or low or high pass filter, low filter, whatever they need to make it more bass friendly and usable. They do that, and they give you both versions in here. Compared to this is just guitar effects. If it happens to work for bass, hey, use it for bass, But, all right, let's go to analog. Let's find an analog delay on here. There we go. So, all right, let's start with the Plethora X1 this time. I'm gonna try to set all these up similarly real quick. So I'm gonna go with around 500 milliseconds, and let's do around 70% of the feedback. We'll leave the EQ alone for now on there. On the Zoom, let's put this to 500. Milliseconds, 70% repeat, and what we got this mix on? Let's do 41%. Take that high dampening off. Put this. Well, this one has a ping pong mode as well. This is the mono version. Yes. So, yep, I agree with you, Paulo. I definitely you gotta love a company that actually do something geared towards basses, like instead of just making us take whatever they got left over from the guitars, or giving you some. Let's just be real, giving you a bunch of half cooked bass emulations that they never update. You know, one thing I do like in here, I like this Regal bass preamp. It's the only bass preamp in the HX1. But all right, so HX1 is the last on my board for modulation reverbs. Yes, it is. It works great for that as well. You know, if you just actually this little signal chain I have rolling here. So I got the Source Audio Atlas compressor, then the Zoom MS-70 CDR Plus running into the HX1 So, well, actually I'm running stereo from the Zoom B6, which is right here. So stereo out of here, running into the Atlas compressor, MS-70 CDR plus HX1 to TC Electronic Plethora X1 into the mixer, which is what you guys are listening to currently. So, like if I wanted to just take out the Zoom B6 and run I got a Yamaha motif sitting right here, run that into the Atlas compressor, and I can change things for my keyboard settings as well. So that still would give me a compressor, and mind you, this has compression and overdrive, compression, overdrive. What else we got in here? Distortion, dynamic, compressors, EQs, modulations, delays, reverb, pitch and synth, and filters and looper. While this pretty much has modulations, delays, reverbs, special effects, and filters. This has a little bit of everything of those 14 effects, but you can only use one of them at a time, of course, with these two units. So this doesn't have any drives, though. So don't expect the Plethora X1 to have any overdrives or distortions or anything like that. This doesn't either. No overdrives or distortion in the MS-70 CDR Plus, but you do get a ring modulator and a bit crusher. So, all right, so that's the analog delays. I can do that one more time for you guys, and then we'll move on to some other delays. We'll go to a ping pong delay next. I love the ping pong delay in all of these units. It actually sounds pretty much the same. Yeah, so Yeah, the Atlas compressor is amazing compressor, by the way, if you guys looking for one. That or I love the Empress compressor as well. That's the one I use for bass. But if you want the most versatile filter that you can use for keys, you can use it for synth, vocals, whatever. The Atlas compressor lets you do everything, you know. But the Empress compressor is still the king on bass for me in terms of having an analog compressor that sounds really amazing. Adds to your sound. What else we got regarding just the quality of effects? I think the modulation and time effects on the Helix are amazing. Yes, so I do too. I think the Helix has some really dope delays, reverbs, and things like that for me. I even like the harmonizer in here as well. And like I said, I like that Regal bass amp. It's a Noble bass preamp emulation in here, and I like the I like the Zoom pedal because it just whatever I need to do, whether it's EQ, the EQ, I can EQ and do everything at once in here. While I'm stuck, if any effect I choose, it just got to be the end all be all in here. So. So again, all three of those are useful in different situations. You know, it depends on what type of delay you want. You want something that's going to be a little darker and roll off as you're going. You know, but you can also make these darker by coming over here with the high pass filter. So of course the Teach Electronic one, once they get that firmware update and that software connected, it's going to be amazing. You know, when they because if I wanted to make that darker, I could on the flashback, but I can't until I get in the app. So, and like I said, the one huge benefit to this plethora is each of these three, now, A, B, and C, can be assigned to any three parameters that you would want in the app, as well as the mash. So you get, really essentially 9 parameters you can control right here, just with fiddling with 3 knobs and the mash button. With the HX1, these pretty much are one parameter at a time. If you want to scroll, you can do that. But you also can have that flux where it goes from, say, I have it there. Let's go with that. So let's say I want it to go to there. And go to here. And dag it. So basically, to this one, to do the flux thing, you gotta turn this on, or you can do it with it off. But you just hold the parameter, um, like push. These are buttons as well. You push these down, turn on the flux, and then set where you want that to go. So So you can get some nice different effects with that. What's going on? Happy New Year's to you, Jay. Appreciate y'all. All y'all chiming in. Feel free to ask some questions or anything you want to see me compare. If you want me to skip right to something, and directly compare some specific effects that you want to see, hit me in the super chat, super thanks. I'll definitely skip right to it. That's gonna be the easy way. That's how we gonna start jumping the line. If you want me to show you something right away and you don't feel like waiting, go on, throw $5-10 in the chat, and bam, I'll do exactly, move right to that effect you're trying to get to see. I know everybody don't have all day to hang out with me, but I appreciate you hanging out with me. Hit that like button while you're here. All right. So now we got all three of those kind of analog delays. Let's go on to, what did I say, ping pong? Ping pong delays. And I love the ping pong delay in all three of these. Let me see. I think, does this one have one? Okay, so the TC Electronic one, I can't get to the ping pong delay. So we'll put that on the mod delay and we'll come back to it for now. But let's just compare these two ping pong delays between the MS-70 CDR Plus and the HX1. And one thing I would love, if any of y'all ever watching my stuff, please come out with a bigger version of the MS-70 CDR Plus with the processing power upgrades of like a Zoom B6. That would be great because, if they did decide to step this sample rate up, I think Line 6 would be in trouble. These are keeping up with this. They don't actually tell you what sample rate this HX1 is running at for some reason internally. But we know this is running at 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. These run 32-bit, 88.2 kilohertz. So 32-bit float. Yeah. Now, tell me you can say one of those is better than the other. Like, how? It's the same thing. The same thing. man. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people, they really think it's this massive jump between Line 6 and Zoom. In reality, these new MS multi-stomps are keeping up. Mind you, the delays on the B6 are twice the sample rate and, you know, sound quality, I guess, if you want to think of it like that. To be honest, this is perfectly fine. Sounds amazing. Sounds on par with everything else. You know what I'm saying? That's out. So don't let that price fool you. You know, don't let the $120 price tag fool you into thinking it's not a good unit. Even some of the compressors and the limiter on here are really good compared to this. I prefer to use this 160 compressor on here compared to the compressors they have on here. I don't like any of the compressors on this HX1. I don't like any of the overdrives and stuff. Just, I'm not going to use them at all. That's why I keep it at the end of my chain anyway. And I think it would be a waste of money for that anyway. I could just get an actual distortion or overdrive pedal for $250 if I wanted one so bad and I needed it in my chain. That's the hard part about this one. Because of the price point, it kind of like, yes, it does a lot. But is it better than the individual effects that you would actually be getting? And with it being one thing, like one slot at a time, you have to place it somewhere. This, I already know I want this at the end of my chain because it's primarily modulations, delays, and reverbs for me. While this, if I wanted to use the overdrives or something else, or, you know, it's too expensive to use as an EQ. It's, you know, too expensive to use for those filters. Those filters aren't that great. But yeah, let's keep going. No need to rag on it. I like these. I like these effects in here. I just wish this was like more on par with the other two. You know, I know it's got to cost a little bit more, but I guess around $220, $230, I'd be fine. But with it being $300, that takes bread. You know, I do like these joints. Like that shimmer effect definitely is getting used on some stuff. You got me twisted. That shimmer effect on this HX1 is getting used. Like, stop it. And these delays, I like these delays, even though these delays are just as good, and the reverbs in here are just as good. In my opinion, these three really on the reverb, the delay side of the game are all equal, even though they don't sound the same. They all sound differently, but it gives me options. It just gives me options. Like, I love this Adriatic delay on here. And that's not something I can easily duplicate on the MS-70 CDR Plus, you know? So, little effects like that make this unit, you know, great to have. You know, I get all my delays, modulations, all that stuff. And I like harmony delay. That's sweet. Pitch delay. We'll say he's gonna do next. Oh, let's do the stereo. Where the stereo Jane at? So this is where these units are very similar, or sound very similar. Like, these delays definitely sound very similar to each other. Let's set them up the same. So right now, going to set this to 166. And set the right time to 5:05. I'm going to try to get these as close as possible. That mix is too high for sure. Let's go with 72% on the mix. Feedback on the right side is going to be 67. Feedback on the left side, 59. And you got the overall mix. That's a 72. Yeah. All right, cool. So So you can make your decision on your own, but that's, you know, I think people are really sleeping on the Zoom stuff, like just assuming that because the Helix stuff is more expensive that it's automatically going to sound better or that much better. This doesn't sound, in my ear, doesn't sound twice as good. I'm just saying, for twice the price, you know. Otherwise, you're just kind of paying for extra features you may or may not be using. For instance, like this still has MIDI. This has MIDI, just has the actual MIDI ports, and this has USB MIDI. You could control this with an app and have your presets, you know, be just flopping through them. This, you got to do it through the pedal like this. So it's just a lot of little features. This has an expression input or output rather. This doesn't. And you can use, the only other feature I can really think of is you can use this as an effects loop. Like, so say you wanted to use, I don't know why you would need to use that. It doesn't even make sense because it's one effect at a time, but you can also use instead of running stereo, you can run mono and use the stereo channels as an effects loop, return and send and return effects loop. This problem, this has tap tempo as well. But yeah, let's keep going. I want to get the Plethora back in the mix here. So let's go through some tremolos. I'm sorry. I'm using the wrong things. Let me see something. Where is it? So that's it. It's more like a vibrato type setting. I think the shaker is a vibrato. Let me see some. Yeah, it is a vibrato pedal. That's what I'm mentioning. The tremolo. Where's the tremolo at? There we go. Sorry about that. You got to kind of have the pedals memorized when you using the Plethora X1 because of the AB situation. So to a mash button real quick. Change this to mash. What's up, my man? Ready to eat? All right, give me a minute. You gotta go get your headphones, my man. So yeah, you got a lot of options. I mean, I can't wait for them to allow you to hook up the actual app. And that's just going through the preset, the built-in tremolo effects on the Plethora. And let's go over to how many more? Oh, let's grab a few more tremolos from the different units. So I'm just going through a few of the tremolo options. So you get a lot of options with both of these units. You know, all three of these units really. This one, you know, like I said, they just gotta get this op up and rolling. But even with the stuff it has in it, definitely worth getting for sure. Oh, hit that like button while y'all here too. Don't forget so you know when I'm going live and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of options in here in terms of tremolos in the HX1. I mean, I highly doubt you're going to use all of these, but it is nice to have them available. Just like I'm sure you know, I won't be using every single effect in the MS-70 CDR Plus or the Plethora X1, so that's not really that big of a deal. I just need, when I'm looking at units like these, I just need them to have enough of the effects I want, and preferably effects that's specific to the unit. Like I like I like how each effect, even if it's supposed to be the same thing, has its own characteristic from each different company. And I'm not glued to, oh, I needed this exact pedal from the 70s. I'm not one of them people. I just like sounds to sound good. Like it just needs to sound good. Like I really don't care if it's what it's emulating or what it's supposed to be, as long as it actually sounds good. Now, one of my favorite modulation effects in here is that analog flanger. That joint's insane. I like it a lot. And I'll pull up some flanger effects in here. That's literally the only flanger effect in there that I would actually use. Compared to this one, I got the bass flanger, the vintage flanger, and the bass vintage flanger, all of which I would use. And those are my three favorite flangers out of the Zoom stuff. But let's start with this. This is my favorite. Let me see. I got a flanger in here too. Is this it? Yeah. Yep. This is it. So I got the flangers queued up. All right, here we go. It's just something about when they design like their bass stuff. It makes you feel like for Zoom's bass stuff. There's bass specific stuff. Just feels really good. Like this is their regular. This is their regular flanger, right? Right, regular flanger. Here's the bass flanger. Much tighter low end on that. Then if you want that really classic flanger, this is just a regular vintage flanger. Which I believe is that little Boss Purple joint. I believe it's a Boss Purple pedal that used to be a flanger. And this is a bass vintage flanger, which is a MXR flanger emulation. Oh, they just get so massive. But listen how wide and massive this one sounds, right? Now it's not as aggressive as this one is. That's that classic. When you turn on a flanger, that's what I want to. That's. So now the plethora. Well, hold up. We got a few more on the HX1. Matter of fact, this one is supposed to be the same one as this bass vintage flanger in here. So we'll do these. These both supposed to be MXR flangers. So for me, that's really giving me that vintage flanger sound. You know, that's the way I remember that MXR bass flanger sounding. But this is not even close for me at the moment, but that's fine. Let's see what else we got All right, so now T's Electronic Plethora on the phaser. I actually really like that one right there. I like how transparent and clear almost like it is, but it's not as gritty. It's not as gritty as like, let's see, let me go back to my one. The one on here is on the HX1 that I like, the analog flanger. That one's much wider. That chain gives me so much joy. I don't know why. That chain gives me but this bass vintage flanger on here. Really gets that classic jet sound. And you can even choose to go with that one or the regular vintage flanger. Right? They're not as, these sound like vintage flangers in this MS-70 CDR Plus. That sounds incredibly close to the analog flangers to me. This sounds like its own thing. It almost doesn't sound like a flanger at all. I just like what it does to the sound. It has like this warm, wide texture to your sound. Yeah, it definitely has it. And then with the TC Electronic one, it's more clear. Yeah, it's definitely more clear. You know, I like this for like some chordal stuff, or even like just like that nice clear sound. Doesn't add any bottom or anything to it, but it just colors the top part of your sound. See, just like it's just like a colored covering or something, like, versus these ones take over. This joint takes over, gets you that classic vintage jet sound, either the vintage flanger or the bass vintage flanger in here. Like if you go and play bass, you definitely can choose the bass one, and it's going, it has that nice bottom in there. And if you want to do more chordal stuff, and this is where Zoom, like I said, Zoom really shines compared to some of the other companies. They actually do things that are bass specific. This vintage flanger, they could have left it like that, just like Line 6 did. Say, oh yeah, that sounds great on bass, and it does. But they was like, nah, let's actually make an actual bass vintage flanger setting where as soon as you turn it on, like, you could feel the bass. Tell me that's not gonna work better for your bass sounds than and like I said, I still love this one. That's definitely going on something. It's so wide and warm. Like, how is that possible? It doesn't even sound like a flanger. But I personally don't like this one in extreme settings, but you know, you definitely get some stuff popping. This bass envelope. You can got a low cut on this joint too, on a low bass flange. So if you don't want it to affect all your low end like that, you can set it to like 200. Bring up this resonance. So I'm saying, you gotta have bass specific effects if you're playing bass, especially for things like that. Like that low cut on here, I don't even remember if it's on the original pedal, but by them having that, it just lets it sit in that mid range. And so by adding that low cut feature, to this, and I push it all the way up to 400 there. It allows me to not have that effect affecting so much of my low end, changing my low end volume. Now the effect just comes down right now currently to 400 hertz, and then goes back up and just does a sweep from there. And the lower I have it, if I turn it all the way off, it'll sweep the whole frequency range. But then you get the woo, right? But if you got that low pass filter in there, you know, or excuse me, low cut filter, not low pass, low cut filter, meaning everything, the effect is not going to touch anything below that point that you set, and it makes it so much more bass friendly. And it's only got 4 parameters. It don't need a ton of parameters because it's right the first time. Like, it got you exactly to the sound you've been used. Most of us want from a flanger. Not only that, but it keeps it from digging into your low end too much, which a lot of the guitar pedals would do. See, that's one of the reasons why I don't like using guitar pedals for bass, is because when it comes to things like that, not having that low cut feature or things like that, it makes the whole, like a modulation sweep the whole frequency, and then it makes your low end inconsistent. And 1 minute is really heavy, the next minute is really light, and that doesn't work well for mixing engineers at all. So, and it's very annoying to deal with. So, but all 3 of these have flangers that you can use. And this is what I was trying to tell people before. It's not about who is better. These brands are just brands. They don't care about you as a person. Particularly, they want your money. And the main thing you got to understand is we going to give them our money. Let's just be real. We going to give it to them if we like the product enough. But it ain't based on just, you know, a lot of these products. I think some people are approaching these multi-effects units the wrong way. Instead of just enjoying them for what they are, they get to comparing them, saying the Zoom one's got to be better than the Line 6. Line 6 got to be better than Zoom or better than TC Electronic. And in reality, all of them are useful. Like, I have all these pedals, you know, you can't really see them that, you know, but I have all these, y'all, those that follow me know, I have all these different pedals, and they're all by different company, you know. I do have some more than others. Like, I have more Zoom and electro harmonics pedals than I do TC Electronic pedals. This is actually the only TC Electronic pedal I have. But only reason I got this one is because it has all of my favorite effects in one, and I didn't have to buy all the TC Electronics effects. So I'm glad I waited. Same thing with the HX1. I don't need to have a whole HX Stomp. HX Stomp is, you know, $600-700. This is $250, and I can get the effects I want. I'm not going to use a bunch of these at once anyway, so that's why I have a Zoom MS-70 CDR Plus to cover everything that I can't get from these 2 units at once. So no matter which of these 2 units you get, between the Plethora X1 and the HX1, I still recommend getting a MS70 CDR Plus and using them as a companion. You can either have 6 effects at a time, 7 effects at a time, or 8 if you get all 3. And with these all together is fire. You can do all your modulations here. You can pick your favorite delay or modulation here and run the reverbs here. Or, you know, run modulations here, run reverb here, run delays here. So having all these units together allows you to really dig in. And guess what? You still at $510, like $510. Mind you, like just a Chase Mood, you know, pedal is going to run you for something. Them joints are, how much are them joints? They got them used for $380. You know what I'm saying? You get them used for $380 right now. But guess what? These are some brand new. I believe they're around $400, $480, something like that. But for the price of that one pedal, you can literally have all three of these, have all the Helix effects, all the Zoom, and mind you, Zoom makes some great stuff in general. That's why they're very consistent. Like whether their mixers, their effects, everything I've seen from them has been generally decent quality, even down to things like this little audio recorder. These are amazing. You can hook these to your phone, use them as audio interfaces, and do a whole bunch of different stuff while you out. But yeah, 6 effects at a time. If you can only get one, I can't, in all honesty, say that you would be that I couldn't recommend the Zoom MS-70 CDR Plus. Like, I can't honestly say that this pedal, if I only have one, that I wouldn't choose this one. And that's because I pretty much have everything I have in these two pedals. Not the same exact effects. Even if it's labeled the same, they ain't the same. And that's across the board. This Shimmer, and this Shimmer are all 3 different Shimmer reverbs. So, and they all have 3 different hall reverbs and things like that. So they don't sound the same, even when they're supposed to be the same effect, as we saw with the Trinity chorus in the beginning. I did a comparison between the chorus in here, the tri-chorus in here, tri-chorus in these two as well, which emulate this one. They all sound different. So don't be afraid to just try out effects and just, I just wanted to do some comparing, because a lot of people, they just talking junk about Zoom, when Zoom makes affordable effects. They make them affordable for us. Compared to some of the other companies, they could care less. They're going to run it up as much as they can. But I can say that Zoom actually makes some quality stuff that'll be, is it the end-all, be-all of everything? No. But will it be a super useful effect for you? Yes. Even if you got a Strymon or something else, you'll still be able to use this MS-70 CDR Plus in some way, shape, or form with different pedal boards, or you can use it as an add-on for your B6 or whatever, running an effects loop of your HX stomp. That can be, a thing too. So it definitely adds, and when you add this, you're adding 6, whatever you add this to, you're adding 6 slots to, like 6 effect slots at once. So I think these have like 100 and something effects in them as well. So, this having 250 effects is pretty useless, actually. I'm not going to lie to you, because most of those are guitar effects and aren't that useful. Like almost, it's like 3 effects in the distortion part. Let me see some. I think it's only like 3 of them joints in there that really apply to basses. Like, these are bass specific things. So you got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably got about 5 of them in the distortion section out of all those things in there, available in there. So I know it'll be a good comparison. Let's move on to the pitch stuff. Let's do some harmony pedals. Matter of fact, let's do some harmony pedals. Move this to twin harmony. Put this in the key of A. That a 5th. And that's in the key of A, and I want this to be 7th. Okay, man, give me a second. I got you. We ready to eat. I'm wrapping it up. Don't worry. See my little man back here. He's sitting back there. He being patient. I give it to him. He doing a great job. Proud of you, man. Proud of you. Proud of you. I know. I'm going to feed you, dude. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up. All right. I'm going to do this last one, and then I'll be finished, okay? So, y'all heard my little man. And the other 2 being patient too. It's 3 of them. I got all 3 of my kids, of course it's winter break. And I don't mind them hanging out in here while I'm working, as long as they don't be going crazy. So, but he been back there waiting for some food. He ain't playing with me either. He ain't monitoring me. So we'll do these. Do these. Let's do these pitch shifters real quick because I got to get out of here. So let's go to simple pitch, 12. Set this to 12. Yep. And we'll switch this one. So have managed to create a few patches and the pitch stuff on the Plethora X1 that I really like this one. So, right off of the back, I'll tell you now, don't get that Plethora X1 for the pitch shifting. It ain't it. I don't like the subbing up too much, and the brain wave thing, I'm not really a huge fan of either. But you can create some good sounds with those, some decent enough sounds, but I just don't like them. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not feeling them. They don't sound that great to me, so I'm gonna leave those out. Now, I do like some of the pitch shifting on the HX1. harmonizer. So monophonic whammy pedal there. I actually like this effect a lot. This dual pitch harmony pedal. This joint is definitely fire. I like that. I can use that for something. So I like that. I like that. And that's the poly wham on here. See, poly pitch. I wouldn't recommend getting either of these pedals because of the pitch shifting, just being real. I'm not going to go through all these simps. To be honest with you, I'm not really too hot on any of these simps. You know, I'm sure you can make some. Octaver, which is like an OC2 octaver. So that's got a nice little something to it. That's definitely, I mean, is that going to replace like the actual OC5 or MXR Poly Blue or even a C4 synth? No, absolutely not. Like I said, most of these synths are even. Most of these synths are even kind of like not really bass friendly. You know, all these just sound like toys, or like old, outdated, first generation keyboard synths. Like, Yeah, so those aren't really usable in my opinion. Now I'll start with the bass analog octaver on here. That's not really that usable either, you know. But you can make that work. Harmony pedal. Yep. Yes. Okay, okay. I got you. You being patient, man. All right. I'm wrapping it up. I'm on to literally the last thing, okay? Let me do this last one and I got you. Okay? Okay, man? You super awesome. I got apple fritter for you, okay? I know. Give me 1 second. So here's the polyphonic shift. So I do really like the polyphonic shifter on here. It's not, of course, it's not going to be a Hog 2 or a MXR Poly Blue Octave or OC5, but it is a nice, something nice to have. You can use and is usable. If this is the only octave pedal you have, 4 or 5 other effects, which is awesome. So unlike these two, if you did use this as a pitch shifter, you can also use it to fill out the whole rest of your effects chain, like modulation, bit crusher, and delay and reverb, and even compression and limiting, and filters if you wanted to. So again, all 3 of them are worth buying. So If you're in the market for them and you got the budget, just grab all three. And if you can't pick two, try them out for yourself in person. Don't even just take my word for it or anybody's word for it. You have to literally play these units because you may, something I play or the way I play may not fit a certain effect, but might fit your playing and be usable for you. So anytime I watch reviews of pedals and stuff, I take them with a grain of salt, as in I'm just trying to see if there's any signs of things that I'd be interested in within there. And if it is, then I'll get it. Then I'll actually see once I get it in my hands if I'm gonna use it or if I'm gonna send it back. Because I do not hesitate to send pedals back. So try them out. If you like them, keep them. If you don't like it, send that thing back. It is what it is. You know, they'll take your money as much as, you know, as you'll give it to them. So if you're not gonna use it, send that thing back. Don't wait. You know, most companies give you 30 days to try it out. So just don't, you know, buy pedals just because they on the market. So, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna do today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you want any of my presets for the Zoom MS-60B Plus, the Zoom B6, that's on the Patreon. If you want to just support the channel more, it's on the Patreon. If you want any of the 11 preamps or my personal preset list for the ToneX pedal and software, check it out on the Patreon. If you want any of the 47 pack I have presets for the C4 synth, that's also on the Patreon. If you want to follow me anywhere at the Bass Negus, Negus, and if you would like to leave a tip, Cash App, Super Chat, Super Thanks, I definitely appreciate $1, whatever you guys got or felt like giving, I appreciate it. So, you know, definitely make sure you subscribe, like, and share at the very least. And I will catch you guys next time. This has been another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Peace.